You ever stare at your phone wondering if you should text her? Or maybe you've already sent a message, and now you're just sitting there, watching those 3 dots blink, then disappear. And now you're asking yourself, did I say too much? Was I too fast? Did I mess it up? If that's ever been you, welcome. Because what we're diving into today is going to shift the way you think about texting women, attraction, and how your words can build real desire without trying too hard. This isn't about cheesy pickup lines, and it's definitely not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about tapping into something deeper, something powerful, that quiet confidence, the stillness, the kind of energy that women feel, even through a screen. And yeah, it's rooted in Stoicism. But don't worry, you won't need a philosophy degree. What you will need is a willingness to shift your mindset, and just maybe, the patience to unlearn what modern dating apps have taught you. Because there are things women respond to that most men never realize, and when you do realize it, that's when the whole game changes. Let me tell you a story. There was a guy I knew, let's call him Adam. Solid guy, smart, funny, respectful. But when it came to texting women, he was constantly overthinking. He'd send long paragraphs, double text, explain everything, apologize for stuff that didn't need apologies. And you could tell, he was doing it from a place of anxiety, fear of losing the girl, fear of silence, fear of being misunderstood. And then there was another guy, Jordan, quiet, direct, composed. He didn't text much, but when he did, his words felt different. There was space in his messages, breathing room. He wasn't rushing anything. He wasn't trying to fill the silence, and guess what? Women chased him. So what was the difference? The difference was energy. And that's what we're here to explore, because when you understand how energy comes through even a simple "hey," you start texting like a man who doesn't need validation. You start texting like a man who's grounded, who respects his own time, and that is magnetic. Here's the thing most men miss. Attraction isn't just built in person. It builds in the spaces between interactions. It builds in anticipation, in the way you carry yourself when you're not with her. And texting? That's where you reveal it, or you lose it. So many guys use texting to seek attention, but Stoic men who understand emotional self-control, they use texting with intention. They're not glued to their phones. They don't panic when a reply takes time. They understand something crucial. Her silence isn't always a rejection. Sometimes, it's just life happening, and how you handle that silence. That's what shows her who you really are. Now don't get it twisted. Being stoic doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean being emotionally distant. It means being centered. You're not chasing, you're inviting. And that's the shift. Let's imagine you've just met someone. Maybe you got her number. Maybe you matched online. What do most guys do? They start rapid-firing texts, constant updates, overcompensating, trying to be funny all the time. They're afraid that if they don't keep her entertained, she'll lose interest. But here's the paradox. When you stop trying to impress, you become more impressive. You text when you have something to say, not just because you're bored. You don't send 10 good mornings in a row hoping she finally likes you. Instead, you let your silence build tension. And when you do, reach out, it has weight. One well-timed message can be more powerful than 20 scattered ones, especially when it reflects that you're living your life. You've got purpose, you've got things to do, and she senses that, she feels that. Because women aren't just attracted to your words, they're attracted to the life behind your words. Here's something you might not hear often. Texting should feel like an extension of your real-world presence. If you're calm, grounded, and clear in person, your texts should reflect that same energy. You don't suddenly become a performer behind the screen. You stay you. Imagine you're on a mountain trail. No phone, no distractions. Just the sound of wind moving through the trees. That stillness, that clarity. That's what Stoicism teaches us. And when you carry that kind of internal peace into your conversations, even your simplest texts can carry depth. A short "hope your day's going well" from a man who means it, who isn't desperate for a reply, hits differently than a flood of overanalyzed emojis. Because again, it's energy. There's something else that happens when you stop trying to say everything. You create space for her to wonder. And that wondering, that's where desire lives. Most men kill the mystery before it begins. They overshare. They over-explain. They try to force connection. But the men who understand silence, who understand the pause, they become unforgettable. You don't have to send a perfect message. You don't have to be a poet. What you do need is to stop trying to control the outcome, and instead just be present. Let the conversation breathe. Trust that if she's into you, she'll respond. And if she's not, you've saved yourself time. That's stoicism in action. That's self-respect. Now let's be real. There are times when texting can trip you up. Maybe you're tempted to check in when she hasn't responded. Or you want to explain why you said what you said. But here's the truth. The more you try to manage how you're being perceived, the more you push her away. You don't need to overcorrect. You don't need to justify. You need to relax. Let her see the kind of man who isn't ruled by his emotions. Let her feel that you're not waiting for her, but you're open to her. There's a huge difference between the two. When she senses that you're not attached to the outcome, but you're still confident and clear, that's what pulls her in. Because it's rare, and women notice rare energy. At the end of the day, texting isn't about strategy. It's about alignment. Who are you when nobody's watching? What kind of life are you building? What kind of energy are you bringing into the world? Because when a woman reads your message, she's not just seeing your words, she's feeling your intention. If you want to be the kind of man women can't resist, don't just master your messages. Master yourself. Master your emotions. Master your presence. And let your texts reflect that. Speak less. Mean more. Be clear. Be kind. But above all, be still inside. Because that's the kind of strength that doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be explained. It just is. And when a woman feels that in a text, she leans in. She gets curious. And that's when the real connection begins.